a card that I made. The reason I haven't showed you it step by step is because we have actually already done this project twice. Now it will look really quite different to the other two projects, but it is the same basic design, and it's the two vintage sewing cards that I have just recently uploaded, at least I hope so. And basically I took the same principles and the same design idea of using the patchwork and the element on top and the scissors, etc, etc, and the feathers, but instead of having two elements, one of them being the patchwork, and I think on the other one I had a sewing pattern and another image, I can't remember what now, and instead of having the two elements on some patterned paper, what I did was I made a big piece of patchwork, paper patchwork, which I actually stitched, and then I just had the one element, and then I had my scissors, etc, and was able to make more of a feature of it that way. And then these sewing threads, the thimble, buttons, which I didn't have on the previous ones, my safety pins, all went on this, because on this occasion, instead of making a normal card like I did before, a regular opening card, I made it as an easel card. Okay, so what I've done is I've used exactly the same stamps as I did before. This is from the same set. This is the sewing machine from the Anna Griffin set. I've used a lace border the same. I've used the same idea using the Cuttlebug to cut out my patches. This is all Anna Griffin paper, and I used her black and white collection, and a lot of this all here is all flocked. It's really beautiful. And then the pink is also actually patterned Anna Griffin, and if I turn it around, you can see on the back it's got you can just see the pattern there, and also obviously the stripes. And then I used the stamps again on the back. Now this is actually from a different stamp set. This is actually, I think, from Debbie Moore Designs. It was just a little free set with a CD that I got, and it just has some smaller little elements on, which I thought would work just to make that more pretty on the back. So just to go a little bit closer to give you a better view, you can see here I've basically taken a normal easel card shape, and I folded that, and I've used the double-sided pink. I've then matted on dark black paper. I don't know if you can quite catch that there is actually another mat there of black, and then I've put the velvet flock Anna Griffin paper on. I then matted on again onto pink, then white, and then my patches, which I had sewn on, and I sewed those on once I had matted everything. I just glued them down as I did on the previous video, and then I sew around it, and I decided to use the pink thread to sew on that to give it a bit more of a pop. And again then with my stamps, I stamped these all onto the cream cardstock, and I cut it out, and then I just used some pink pen, gel pens, just to highlight that. That was actually two shades that I used there. I went round with some scissors on this one just to give it that little wobbly edge, to again just give it look like material that's been cut. Then we put the sparkly border on, and these are the pink buttons, are actually the reverse side. They're actually polka dot buttons, and I just took some Martha Stewart glitter glue and just went over the top of those to give them a bit more bling, and also just to make the colour just a little better. And then over here, before I put this mat down that I just talked about here, I put my ribbon around, and all of this element was done prior to sticking it onto the easel. So this easel part was made, and then I stuck the back piece on when it was completely finished, because then you know any bits like ribbons, etc, that are going to tuck behind, it's not going to be an issue. So I had this beautiful lace, so I just cut a piece, did the cheetah method, put it around the back, didn't go all the way around, just a little piece around the back, and then I took a spare piece and I just gently knotted it just so it pulled it in. And this is a Teresa Collins element, I don't know, it's a beautiful jewel, and I put that on there. But again, before I did that, that was the last piece I did, I put my glue gel behind, as you saw me on the previous videos, and I popped my scissors, sorry, before I did that, I'm jumping ahead, I laid down my lovely glitter swirls, gem and pearl swirls, again as you saw on the previous video. So I just laid those down there. Then I put my glue gel behind my knot here, this was before I put this on. I put my feather in, I put my scissors down, which I did put glue gel on the scissors, and that also helps to keep the feather in place. And then I had made these 3 pins, and again I've gone through how I did that on my previous video, so just jump back to that, and I will put the links to these videos on the bottom of this, on the side of this video here, or the bottom, I'm not quite sure where it is these days. And then again with this part of my card, we made our normal step part so that my card will, you can see the flocking there beautifully, so the card will actually be held in place. And I did use glue gel again on this, and I put some buttons on. I found some lovely buttons. This was stamped, and then I used some glossy accents over the whole lot, and then very carefully positioned some glitter on the bit that would be the spool, and then again glossy accents on my thimble and just a little glitter on the top here. I glued down my 2 pins as I showed you before, and my buttons, and then I managed to find some letters for the lady's name, which was perfect, and beautiful glittery colour, and that actually was how they came, and I have to say I don't know what ones they were. And then just up here, the final little touch was another pin, and almost like a little flag, I pierced through the end of my spare, it was like just a little remnant of the lovely lace, and I just went through it and gathered it up, and then just put a tiny bit of glue gel on my pin, and as I poked it in behind here, that has now held it in place. And I just put a tiny blob just here as well to make sure my little flag, as it were, stayed in position. And with my scissors, I used the same pens as I did for this, the gel pens, just to colour in the, I actually glossy accented it, and then when it had dried I went over it with the gel pens and the silver as well, and then I went over again to put glossy accents on. Now the reason I did on this one was because, unlike on my previous video, the pen that I used didn't seem to want to dry on the glossy accents, so I thought, well, safer than sorry, let's encase it. So there we go, that's our card. I hope you've enjoyed having a look at this, and as I say, it I think really proves that sort of one design idea, and actually when you look closely at it you can see how it is similar, and yet the different colours and the slight changes in it make it such a completely different look. So even if you used a much more simple design, because obviously this is quite complex, there's a lot to it and it took a lot of time to do, but even with a more simple design, if you just change it around a little bit, even just by changing colours, it makes it look like a completely different card. So I hope you've enjoyed having a look at this with me. I didn't, as I say, want to show you the whole thing step by step as we'd gone through it, but I hope you've enjoyed having this little peek at it now it's finished, and I hope you like it, and I'd love to hear your comments. Thanks for watching. Bye!